We have a specific picture of how art gets made: a solitary figure sitting in a dimly lit studio, waiting for a flash of inspiration. But stepping into that isolated studio today requires a massive amount of capital. Between the cost of materials, renting workspace, and basic survival, emerging creators hit a financial wall before they ever make their first stroke. To bypass those barriers, creators have historically banded together. Early modern movements like the Dada artists merged their efforts to produce provocative works and push for social change as a united front. Recently, global crises have added a psychological barrier to the financial one. The isolation of the pandemic and the fragmentation of a post-truth culture exposed the severe limits of trying to interpret the world completely on your own. Surviving as a creator today requires dismantling the myth of individual brilliance and adopting a completely different approach to making art. The highest levels of the art establishment are already leaving the solitary model behind to reward collaborative groups. You can see this shift at the Turner Prize, one of the most prestigious awards in contemporary art. Increasingly, the top honors are going not to individuals, but to entire collectives standing together at the podium. These institutions are recognizing creativity as a social product. In this view, an idea only truly becomes creative when it is acknowledged and shaped by others. When top-tier awards consistently validate group efforts over lone creators, it proves that pooling talent is now a structurally superior path to high-level recognition. For an independent sculptor, buying an industrial kiln or a professional printing press is a massive, often impossible expense. A collective turns that heavy individual burden into shared access. By splitting the overhead, the production process opens up entirely. Creators who would otherwise be priced out can now experiment with high-end tools. When a raw idea enters a group, it doesn't stay static. It branches out, expanding as interconnected minds contribute their perspectives. Through constant peer learning and rigorous feedback, the network strengthens. The art evolves, becoming resilient through cyclical testing. Merging physical resources and critical insights significantly upgrades both the financial capacity of the group and the baseline quality of the work they produce. A common hesitation is that joining a group might wash out an individual's unique style, making them less marketable. The reality works in reverse. Shared networks create market amplification, expanding an artist's reach far beyond what they could achieve alone. There is distinct strength in numbers. Members co-host events, combine their mailing lists, and split the costs of marketing and merchandise production. Presenting as a unified organization also opens doors to international grants and large-scale exhibition opportunities that selection committees rarely offer to solo creators. By adopting a collective identity, the individual artist actually becomes significantly more visible and economically secure. The impact of these groups scales rapidly. When creators pool their resources in physical locations, they often act as urban igniters, transforming neglected industrial streets into highly populated cultural hubs. This chart shows the nonprofit arts and culture sector generated $166.3 billion in economic activity in a single year, supporting millions of jobs. As a central cultural hub stabilizes, this localized heat map shows economic density expanding outward into the neighborhood. These hubs attract non-local arts tourists who spend nearly twice as much as local residents on lodging, dining, and transportation during their visit. When individual creators share infrastructure, they stabilize the local hubs that drive this wider spending, creating a measurable link between shared artistic costs and neighborhood-wide growth. The value extends past financial metrics. Collaborative art functions as a social sculpture, involving the community in the creative process to foster dialogue between different groups. These groups operate as anti-hegemonic forces. They actively push back against the individualistic, cutthroat vouchers that typically dominate the commercial art market. Instead of prioritizing pure commercial extraction, they establish alternative metrics for success, based on mutual care, communal nourishment, and healing. By prioritizing these social relationships over individual sales, collectives offer a practical way for artists and neighbors to reconnect and build a shared understanding of their local reality. The future of cultural success relies on leaving the isolating myth of the solitary genius behind and embracing the proven power of collaborative action.